In this video, we'll use OpenAI's new API to generate Dall-E images and then send them to ourselves using email. Let's dive in. So landing in the Shipyard here, we're inside of our fleet builder, and inside of Shipyard now, we have an OpenAI blueprint, not only for using Whisper, which we have a video going back on YouTube that I'll link above, but we also have a new one that's called Download Photos from Dall-E. So I'm going to click that one. It's going to create a vessel for us here. And so we can name this Generate Photos from Dall-E. And you can see we have 4 inputs that we need to put in to get this vessel to run for us. So we need a photo prompt. So this is the text that's going to be sent over to the Dall-E to generate the photos. So I'm just going to do Wall-E meets Eve. So do a little Wall-E photo to go with Dall-E. We can choose the number of photos. They do have a limit on what you can send over in the API. So I'm just gonna choose 2 photos this time. I think it could go up to around 15 photos per request. I think it is, but if you look in the documentation, it lets you know that total. So photo topic. So this is going to be. So I'm just going to set this one to be Wall-E. So the way that this blueprint is going to run, it's going to call all these photos Wall-E _0_1_2. So based on the index of what you send. So since there's 2 photos, we'll have a Wall-E _0.png and then a Wall-E _1.png that we'll use to email in just a moment. And then our API credentials. So you'll need to sign up on OpenAI's website to get API credentials. But once you have that, that's all we're going to need to download our photos from Dall-E. So inside of Shipyard, anytime you're using Shipyard, whether it's this blueprint or any other blueprint, you can set up email notifications to be sent out after any error. And there's also guardrails that you can protect against extra long run times or the number of retries or things like that. We'll leave those as default right now. So like I said, this is going to download those photos from us from OpenAI. So now we need to send them somewhere since Shipyard will delete those files after the fleet run. We need to send those somewhere so we can have them. So we're just going to use email for this one. So if we search email, you can see we have send message with file. I'm going to click that. It's going to pop up an authorization guide. I'm going to use the default that's in there. So if you just want to play around with this and test it, feel free to just do exactly what I'm doing and use our Shipyard app test Gmail accounts. But if not, you can click on our authorization guide there to authenticate your email to use in this blueprint. So I'm going to name this one Send Photos from Dall-E. You can see pulled down here. I'm going to pull it up there for us. And then going through the host, so it's smtp.gmail.com. Port 587. We're going to leave the username and password default. So again, that's an account that we leave in there in the default use case of an email blueprint so that you can just test it if you'd like. I'm going to send the email to myself. Subject line, Dall-E photos, messages. Here are your 2 generated Dall-E photos. Okay, and so to do this, we don't want to use an exact file type match, so we're going to use regex. And so that regex is just going to be, any character with a .png file extension. So it's just going to grab all those photos that are generated from Dall-E, which is those 2. So this looks like it's set up well. So now we can connect those together, and then click Save on the bottom right-hand corner of your page, or it could be Save and Finish. So if you've already worked with a fleet before, it'll be save and you can click run now. If it's save and finish on the bottom, you'll click just run your fleet on the next page that pops up. So we're going to go ahead and click run now. So this is going to kick off this to run immediately. So we call this an on-demand run inside of Shipyard. So there's 2 other ways that you can run a fleet inside of Shipyard. You can use our triggers tab here. So under our triggers tab, we have a scheduling trigger as well as an API trigger that you can programmatically kick off any of these fleet runs. We also have version control there in case you want to, you made a change to your fleets and you wanted to go back and roll back and go back to the last version or compare and contrast version 1 and version 2. You can do that. You can see inside of our fleet log here, which is where you get a live view of what's happening inside of your fleet run. You can see that it's already generated those photos and downloaded them. So it took 22 seconds, which is pretty great. And so next, we're going to send those photos over email. So you can see that's already kicked off here. So it's yellow. And so as this finishes, I can click inside of that, and it's going to show you the Python output of the run. So you can see all the inputs that we put in earlier. But you can also see that it found two files. So it found wally0.png and then wally1.png. So those are those two files that we generated from Dall-E. And then it attached them to the message, and then the message was successfully sent. So let that load into the email, and we can pop up our email and show. There's the email. So I'm gonna pull that up and bring it over here. And so you can see shipyardapptest.gmail Dall-E photos. So here's our two generated Dall-E photos. And so you can see there's the first one that Dall-E generated with Wally meeting Eve. And then here's our second one down here of Wally meeting Eve. Again, I'm not going to promise that Dall-E is going to generate the best photos for you, but that's kind of the fun of using Dall-E. So again, in this video, we talked about how you can generate photos using OpenAI's new API with Dall-E, and then send those photos to yourself using email. If you have any questions about this solution or how you can use Shipyard in your organization, use the link in the description to set up a time to chat with our team of data experts. If you want to see more tutorials like this one, check out these related videos.